Drive. So,
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you very much to you for this introduction, and I thank the ICD for this opportunity to introduce my work. Some of you already know what I'm doing, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity today to take all of you through my work. So, first of all, I want to say that I've been sitting there for the last 2 years randomly attending some of the conferences since I decided to create my own project on cultural diplomacy. So my own narrative is very much based on who I am. So what is my background, why I'm here, and why I did decide to undertake this kind of initiative. So first of all, as I said, I would like to tell you more or less where I come from. First of all, I define myself as a global citizen. When the people ask me, where are you from? I'm almost unable to answer that question. I've had an international background, an international long life experience, and yes, I do have Spanish roots with a lot of French influence, Belgian influence. I've lived in the US, I've lived in Israel. So it's very hard for me to answer with one single answer other than I'm a global citizen. As a global citizen, I had the opportunity to live as well a very European experience. For your information, I'm currently employed by the European Union, so I live in a diplomatic world. So this is my world. I am employed by the European External Action Service, which is the equivalent of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in this context, I had forged an experience in conflict management. So conflict management, dealing with a lot of security and defense-related issues. And I got involved myself, and I was sent to very hard theaters, as we call them, because we're talking also about arts, right? So, but those are real life theaters where conflicts were going on. And I witnessed the way we were managing as a foreign actor this kind of conflicts. And there was something, in my view, something lacking. I have been in Afghanistan, I've been in Iraq, I know I don't look like a military type staff, but I was there. And I was there as a lawyer, and I witnessed a lot of things. And as such, I was observing, and I said, but something is lacking here. What is lacking? The first thing that, in my view, lacks in these kind of diplomatic processes is listening. Listening, because diplomats, we're not paid for going to big conferences and sit down and listen. We're there to make our speeches and to make our points and our point of view, but we need to understand. We need to better engage with some cultures that we're not familiar with. And this is why and how I started observing and said, but I can do something different. Myself, as a person with the context I do have in this context, I think I can do something different. So I was, as I said, in this world, I was involved in conflicts such as the Middle East peace process, such the Syrian war, such relations with Turkey, Iraq, and all those countries that we're normally scared about. And I was convinced that I could make a kind of difference. And the difference is by trying somehow to find alternative routes, routes where, and alternative avenues where people could sit down, talk to each other without fearing that others were observing or judging or prejudging. So I didn't do this in the context of my professional life. I did this in the context of my private life. Luckily, we are encouraged also to be social entrepreneurs or social actors. And we have a special, I would say, special arrangements that allow us to engage in such external activities, as we call it. So as an artist myself, I mean, I'm a musician by vocation, so I wanted to bring those two worlds together. And I said, maybe I could do the bridge, because I do understand one of the worlds, and I understand the other world too. So let's try to mix them both. And while mixing this, I read about these concepts about cultural diplomacy. Wow, what is cultural diplomacy? And this is how maybe I am the case, the practical case, because I'm a real diplomat, and I do understand these diplomatic challenges, world conflicts and all this, but I do also understand the perspective from an artist. And I admire the way the artists work, and in particular musicians. I've been sitting also observing the dynamics, and some of the musicians, when they listen to a foreign rhythm, they say, hey, I love this music. I want to integrate this into my music. I want to do the same, and they don't have some of the prejudgments that other human beings have. They want to integrate, they want to know more, they want to listen, they want to, and I said, this must be cultural diplomacy. So inclusiveness, tolerance, listening, mutual understanding, mutual cooperation. And this is how I said, okay, this is it. Peace is based on that. So peace, for me, a culture of peace, is the main mission of the NGO I decided to start, which is called United Voices for Peace, very much inspired on the United Nations concept. This is where I started from. So as I said, universal vision of the world and universal vision of our humanity. We're all part of the human family. Whoever we are, whatever our background is, we're all humans. So this is how I started to think about the NGO. So I'm the founder of the NGO. It is currently based in Brussels. And we decided to use music and the arts to address some of today's challenges. Because most of the conflicts, in my view again, are based on disrespect for human rights, disrespect for human beings, and disrespect for others' concerns. So maybe we start by the beginning, which is understanding each other, is at looking at each other, including, integrating. Maybe we can do, I mean, I'm convinced of that, so that we can do beautiful things together. And this is about it. So how to address difficult issues. So you will see that the motto of our organization is music and art express that which cannot be put into words and that which cannot remain silent. So through art and through music, we decided to facilitate, thanks to our contacts in the diplomatic world, a number of artistic projects. So we have facilitated a number of projects, and as I said, what we do is that we act as, we've been called like the dream makers, I don't know, the bridge, whatever you want to call it, between those two worlds. So somehow putting the power of the arts in the hands of those who need it the most. So this is how we have tackled some of the issues, such as integration of minorities through some projects in the context of the Flamenco Festival. Then we have also addressed some issues related to integration of refugees, mainly, I mean, through the story of Ahmad Judea, a Syrian dancer. But we've also, for example, tackled issues such as gender balance. And particularly for this presentation, and I will end up here also to leave space to others, I've been asked to tell you a little bit about this story, about this project on gender balance, so Global Women in Music for Human Rights. Again, as I said, so we want to address some of today's challenges, and most of them related to human rights and maybe the discrepancies and the deficiencies of our today's democracies. And gender balance is a deficiency of our democracy. It is related to a very deep-rooted culture, societal culture. And again, this is why we choose music. Music to showcase the problem, to demonstrate that there was a problem. And the problem is certainly not the lack of talent of music produced and composed by women. And we partnered for this specific project with a Fondazione Donne in Musica based in Rome. And we decided to put together what was their very legitimate concern, which was to show that there was enough talent, so there was enough women composers to put them then at the upfront of the scenery. And they've asked me to help them to give a diplomatic touch to it, so to put it somehow in a diplomatic agenda. And the way we work is that we pick up, for instance, some symbolic dates, like the International Peace Day or like the International Refugees Day, to raise awareness on the work of those artists or cultural organizations. And in this specific case, so we decided to help them to redefine their concept, which was, in our view, very much a very good concept to show, and to place this in the context of the celebrations, international worldwide campaign to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration for Human Rights. So we worked months and months together to come out with this, which was a program and a concert that was forecast in Rome in last November. And for me, it's a win-win, I will say so, because immediately the European Commission was happy to sponsor somehow this project, because it fitted, for instance, in the context of the celebrations of the cultural heritage, European cultural heritage, the year for the European cultural heritage. The High Commission, UN High Commission for Human Rights was very happy also to sponsor this project, because they found that it served their diplomatic agenda, showcasing again with a positive and alternative narrative this problem of a gender issue, which is absolutely, I mean, a very important issue of today's, one very important challenges of our democratic societies. So this is just one example. I will be happy to show you and to tell you about other examples of other projects we facilitated. But basically, in our 2 years of existence, we facilitated almost 8 projects, which is a lot. And the reason, I mean, the model, I would say, that is choose for that is that we don't organize ourselves the artistic performances, but we join forces with those who have a project or who are thinking of having a project, giving that a kind of political or diplomatic relevance. So I will stop here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.